On this week's episode, we talk with Dr. Kelly Henry. He is the author of Define and Deliver Exceptional Customer Service, profit strategies, all kinds of good things in here about how to help enjoy your profit with customer service. It seems very simple, but a lot of good nuggets in here that he's dropping for us to listen to today. So take a listen. But before we get to that, I do have a marketing moment for you, something that we've come up with along the years to, when you're working with clients, think about the clients that you want to work with and how you're going to match and fit with them. And so something that we say is fun, fame, or fortune. At least have two of those things, right? Are those clients going to be fun? Are they going to listen to you? Are they going to take your recommendations? Are they going to, honor and respect the relationship that you have with them? So is it fun, right? Is something that you're going to do for that client, is it going to spark joy in your employees' lives or your life in working with this particular client that you may want to, prospect and work with, right? Fame. Is it going to, be something that's going to provide you notoriety? Maybe it's something that you're going to do that could become award-winning, or it could become something that people talk about because of the work that you're doing with this particular client or project or, thing that you're going to be doing, right? So fun, fame, or fortune. Are you going to be profitable? Is it going to make you money? Are you going to be able to come out of this ahead? Is it going to be sustainable? Is it going to be, why you're doing a for-profit company if you are a for-profit company? And even in a nonprofit, fun, fame, or fortune can still be applied here, right? Is the project fun? Is the donor that you're going to work with, is it going to be a fun thing for you? Is it going to, provide fame and notoriety and elevate the brand because of this client or project or donor or cause that you're working on? And fortune, are you going to make money and or be able to sustain yourself because of it, right? So fun, fame, or fortune, at least pick two. Same concept of better, faster, cheaper. You can pick two. You can't necessarily pick all three. Better, faster, cheaper, right? If you want something better, it may not be faster, it may not be cheaper, or maybe it is, but then you're not going to get it, better quality or, more efficient or whatever the case might be. So better, faster, cheaper, fun, fame, and fortune. Pick two of each of those. And there's my marketing minute for you in finding your alignment with the right target audience and getting the right customers through your door. And one more quick thing that I need to make mention of is our offer for this week that it's a gift I'm giving to you. We are partnering with Misfit Market. I love this because it's definitely something that's going to be out there, and more people I think are going to be doing it. So really it's vegetables and fruits that the regular mainstream grocery stores don't accept because maybe they are misfits, maybe they look funny, maybe they're oddly shaped, but the quality no less is still there. So with this link, go to peppershock.com/offers and you'll earn $10 off your first Misfit Box based on the referral that you get from me. So go to peppershock.com/offers. They send you the box in the mail. You can do it weekly, you can do it bi-weekly, you can do it monthly, but it is definitely a place for you to get discounts on organic produce and pantry staples and much more at Misfits Market. So I'm excited to give you this gift of $10 off your first order. Go to peppershock.com/offers and then you will get involved with Misfit Market. So without further ado, let's listen to Dr. Kelly Henry's interview.
Welcome to Pepper Shock Media's Marketing Expedition podcast, keeping you up to date with the latest in marketing and advertising. Now here's your host, Ray Allen.
Welcome to the Marketing Expedition podcast. Today's guest, we have Dr. Kelly Henry, and for 20 years, he's an award-winning chiropractor. Dr. Kelly Henry has helped his patients live healthier lives with the foundation of providing exceptional customer service. Dr. Henry grew his clients into one of the top producing chiropractic offices in the nation with multiple locations and doctors. And since 2018, Dr. Henry has used his systems to coach business leaders on improving customer service to create incredible growth and profits. Welcome to the show, Kelly. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you, Ray. I appreciate the opportunity.
And why don't we share with our audience, where are you recording from right now?
I'm in the Dallas, Texas area.
And you
So
shared with me at the time of the recording what's going on in Dallas, Texas area right now.
we have been working through some extraordinary weather. We've been below freezing for the last about 10 days, 7, 8, 9 days now, and then through tomorrow. So we're just trying to stay ahead of freezing pipes
Yeah.
and the busted water lines and keeping things running. So
Wow.
it's been interesting.
Yeah, well, I'm so grateful that you just spent a little time with me today. I'm in Idaho. We have snow here too, but nothing like you're experiencing there, and so I'm just glad
You're
and
used to it
grateful.
up there. We're not quite accustomed to this kind of weather down
That's
here.
right. It is. It's a kind of a weird anomaly going on, isn't it? So, okay, let's talk about customer service. Really, that's kind of the bread and butter of what you help businesses do, and how you can help them succeed with customer service. So tell me a little bit about your journey. What is it that you've done, and how are you helping people now?
Well, what actually got me keyed into even starting to focus on customer service was when I first started my chiropractic clinics. Moved to an area in New Mexico where my wife was from, and bought out a chiropractor there. And the community we lived in was a good community, a smaller community. A lot of the businesses had been established for many years, and really didn't have any kind of competition. So when we started interacting with a lot of these businesses, it became quickly apparent they didn't really have to have or provide great customer service. You had to do business with them whether they treated you well or not, and that I just hated that. It really bugged me. So I just made a decision. You know what? My clinic was going to be different than that. We're going to treat my patients, like family. We're going to build relationships, and we're going to treat them as a valued person, as a valued customer, as a valued patient. And I didn't do it as a way to build my clinics. I just did it because I was going to be different. But lo and behold, as we started putting some things into place that way, my patients loved it. They commented on all the time, and it really piqued my interest into how to do it better and implement new ideas and principles. And this 20-year journey that I've been on improving customer service and how impactful it can be for businesses. And so in 2018, when I retired, I had seen how it had impacted my business, how it helped me grow both my clinics to a tremendous level. And I just wanted to share that information with other business owners so they could impact their businesses and help them grow and succeed at even to a greater level than maybe they had. And if they haven't been succeeding, maybe help them get past that threshold where they were not just surviving, but able to thrive in their business.
Can you give me an example of what you feel like you gave great customer service, or maybe your team did, or something that you did that kind of did set you apart, like a specific example?
Well, my philosophy of great customer service is doing the simple things consistently. Doing the simple things consistently, day in and day out, with every patient, every interaction, and that's where so many businesses miss the boat. Is maybe they have good customer service one day, but then the next day things are a little off, or from one employee to the next, one does great, one doesn't, and so the philosophy and my thought pattern was we just have to do the simple things that make patients feel valuable, but we have to do them consistently. So a couple of the things that we did quite well was we greeted the patients each and every time they walked in like we were excited to see them. Like we were seeing a long lost friend we hadn't seen in years. When they walked in, hey, good morning, great to see you, Mr. or Mrs. So and so. We'll be right with you. Have a seat. Is there anything we can get for you? Those type of things. We did it with a smile on our faces. We did it with enthusiasm. It almost shocked new patients because they're like, whoa, these people are a little over the top, but they grew to love it. Another thing that we did on the other end of a patient's experience was we left them with a great farewell. Hey, we appreciate you. Thanks for coming in. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you next week. Thanks for choosing us, those type of things. Because that last farewell is often the thing that a patient or a customer will leave with.
Mm-hmm.
And so I call it bookending the experience. So have an enthusiastic greeting and welcome, and have an enthusiastic farewell. And that really set the tone for a lot of what we did as far as our customer service.
That's great, especially right now. The world needs some positivity and some positive things to happen. No more pandemic, no more, lights out and, and snow,
Right.
weird weather, right? We definitely could use that positivity for sure. So
Absolutely.
now that moving forward, you are helping companies, businesses really focus on their customer service. So walk me through the process. Like, what happens if somebody were to hire you? What would you do? How would you go about it? What are some kind of maybe some success stories that you've had so far?
Absolutely. First thing we do is just analyze their customer service system, basically. And every business thinks they're great at customer service, or the vast
Well,
majority
of
of
course we
businesses.
are.
Exactly. Yes, we provide great customer service, but statistics tell a different story. And so when I start analyzing a business, we always see some glaring issues, some problems. Yeah, they're good at pieces. They have pieces of great customer service, and often that's what business will focus in on. Well, because we do this and this really good, that qualifies us to have great customer service, and that's just not the case, because you have this hole, this hole, this hole, this hole, this hole, and you're losing patients, you're losing customers, or you're losing clients and when you lose them, you're losing profits. So again, we want to analyze and understand where the holes are, and then we can start filling it in. From that, I have a very specific system that really helps businesses get good at just a handful of things that customers really want. There's a million things that you can do to improve your customer service, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we want to be really good at the things that customers want. Really, they want to be, to me, feel that they're appreciated. A business needs to act like they appreciate their customers. Obviously, that's goal number
Yeah,
one. There's a
right.
lot. There's a lot of layers to doing that, but that's a huge piece of it. Customers also want things to be efficient. They want to be able to function and do business with you quickly, and not have obstacles, and be convenient for them to do business with you. So that's another area that we look at and try to trim down and streamline for a business. And then also, customers want to, they understand there's going to be problems. Sometimes there's issues, things don't go as planned. Um, and if a business will handle those situations in a very efficient manner and very specifically to the benefit of the customer, that creates tremendous loyalty. So again, it's just working on these, really the 20% of things that a customer really, really wants, doing that really, really well. And that creates about 80% of the impact for the business and for the customer. So we work on that very well. And I've had tremendous success with being able to do this, from startups to established businesses that have been around for years, that they're jumping up profits by hundreds of thousands of dollars in less than a year, doubling, tripling their business within a year and a half, 2 years. A startup going from virtually nothing to incredible profits. So it just kind of runs the gamut. Customer service never goes away.
Right.
This isn't a new shiny object. I often say it's not sexy. it's
Right.
it's not sexy. It's not the new marketing ploy. It's not the new sales technique. It's just a rock solid principle that some of the biggest corporations, biggest businesses in the world have. They established themselves on it and grow to incredible heights. Not saying that every business will be able to do that, but you really can't go wrong in improving your customer service.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I even have some things that just came to my mind, and we greet people when they come in the door, and we give them options for something to drink or beverage or coffee. But I often think, do we do the bookend thing that he was saying? Do we give them a huge experience at the end? I don't know. I mean, I usually try to walk them out and talk, but I don't know that everybody does all of that. So I think that's definitely a key point that I took notes even. And then something else you said that I really I agree with 100%, is that you've got to make it easy to do business with you. And if you don't, and you make people go through all these hoops and try to, it's just hard, right? So people will go away because they want to find somebody else that might be a little bit more convenient or easier or function better, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why Amazon is such a
Yeah.
popular business, because they are awfully easy to buy stuff from, obviously. And
Yeah.
people will they'll actually prioritize how quickly how quickly they can do business with you or can get their business done with you over how you actually make them feel. So they'll kind of let the unappreciated, not that you're making them feel terrible, but they'll let that slide where they don't maybe feel as appreciated. But if you're extremely quick, they'll grab onto that. But if you can do both, if you can make them feel incredibly valuable and be incredibly efficient with your business and taking care of them, that's gold there.
Yeah, for sure. So let's take a step back. What got you into doing the business that you wanted to do in the first place? Maybe both the chiropractor business when you started that, and then when you wanted to start the business that you're doing now and helping businesses. So let's back up a little bit. Tell me about your journey, kind of what started it, maybe some things that you went through, and then to fast forward to today.
Absolutely. I played baseball in high school. And my sophomore year in high school, I was a pitcher. I couldn't throw the ball more than just a few times, and my right arm felt like it was going to fall off. Talked to the coaches, and they just said work through it, and it was just incredibly painful. So, did the medical route, and medical doctors couldn't figure anything structurally wrong. And so, my mom, being a chiropractic patient for years, she decided, I'm going to take you to the chiropractor, and they figured out that I had some issue with my neck and the nerves going to my arm, and got that cleared up. And so that really piqued my interest in, hey, there's something about this chiropractic thing here. So
wow,
seeing it firsthand how it healed me. We also had a family friend that lived a little ways from us, but we'd often see him, and he was doing quite well for himself back then. He had the lake house and the boat and the snowmobiles and all kinds of toys. So
fun.
Exactly. So from a selfish standpoint, I'm like, man, I wouldn't mind having some, making some money so I could have and live that lifestyle. So that also kind of pushed me in that direction to pursue the chiropractic profession. Love chiropractic. I love treating patients. I love being with patients. I love communicating with patients and just that interaction. So it was an absolute blast, helping, serving them and changing lives for the healthier. Very exciting. Having associate doctors and teaching them what I've learned and helping them move on and succeed. So thoroughly loved it. I bought out 2 chiropractors in my 20-year career. And both of these chiropractors had kind of gone past their prime. They were in their 60s, and it kind of let their practices die off. Not much left for me to really take over from them. So it was good for me at the time. But I made a decision when I bought them out that I was not going to let myself get to that point where I let my offices, my clinic get past its prime and then try to sell out when I'm, had nothing left. If I was going to sell out, I was going to do it at my peak. And in 2017, it really felt like I was being led to go ahead and do that. And so that spurred me on to selling my clinics. Like I mentioned earlier, I have lived the customer service lifestyle in my clinics. I just knew how impactful it is. And just being a consumer, seeing how lacking it is in the vast majority of businesses. So I'm like, there's a need here.
Yeah.
The other thing is I have been coached for many, many years, business coaches, life coaches, and saw the impact on me personally and in my business from having a coach myself. And so I just decided to mesh the two together. You know what? I want to impact people and businesses through coaching, and I want to do it by coaching them on customer service. So here's why I'm doing what I'm doing now.
Let's drill down on that a little bit more about having a coach, because sometimes it's got this interesting stigma to it. Like, oh, I don't need a coach. I can do it on my own. Or, I don't need that. I can do this. But you're right. I mean, I've had coaches along the way, and it really impacts your business, don't you think? I mean, what are some things that the coaches did for you in your business that made you change the way you did things, made it better? What do you think are some things what immediately comes to mind that a coach did to help you?
Absolutely. Well, something to remember about coaches, the most successful people in really any industry have been or are currently being coached. So that's something to think about. That, if these top athletes, if the Tiger Woods of the world and the top athletes and you name it have coaches, then maybe there's something to hire a coach. So just something to think about there. For me personally, just having another set of eyes to see objectively, when you're in business, you get in the middle of business and you don't see objectively. You see emotionally most of the time. And so a lot of times it's hard to make great decisions of what actually needs to be done, or to develop a system to help you, prosper. And that's kind of where I was at. I was doing okay, but I always knew, I'm a goals guy. I had significant goals, and for 3, 4, 5 years, I couldn't get past a certain level. And I was providing for my family, but there was just something in me. I'm like, what is wrong? Why can't I get past what I'm doing? And so to hire that coach and for them to say, okay, here's what's going on. Here's what you're doing wrong. Here's a system. Let's follow this system. And then move forward. And just immediately things started taking off, to the point where I outgrew my first coach and I had to hire a second coach because I'd got to another level, so they could help me adjust to the different issues. There's always going to be issues. There's always going to be problems. It's just how you handle them and be able to work through them. And that's, again, where coaches can help you from their experience. Okay, here's what's going on. This is what you need to do to adjust to that and to correct for that. And that second coach grew my practices to the point where I had to hire a third coach, and just kept progressing from there. But incredibly impactful having coaches. I cannot stress that point enough, that it's not an expense, it's investment in your future, in your success when you hire coaches.
Excellent. And now with the way the world works, have you been able to actually go on site for people, or have you done most of your coaching right now just through, online means? And are you local, or are you doing this all over?
I'm doing it all over, but I set everything up where I can do it just virtually. So if somebody absolutely wants me to come in and do some work with them, I can do that. But my programs work virtually. I train the trainer. So I don't do a lot of training with just the employees, because it doesn't work that way. I can't just go in and work with the employees, but not have the full involvement of the owners or the upper management. So I need to be involved with them, train them, and then let them take the philosophy, let them train the culture into their employees. And that's how it works so much more effectively when we work that way. So that's how I can just do things virtually by training the upper echelon of a business.
So thank you for kind of taking me through that journey that you had and kind of where you're at and what you're doing for your clients now. Let's talk about the marketing journey. So you're on the podcast, that's one thing, but what are some things that you have been doing to help market your new business?
I'm a big proponent of LinkedIn. Use LinkedIn a lot, and it's been really great for me. So mainly business to business. So it works very effectively, building those relationships, making those connections. And even if it's not a direct connection for me to work with somebody, it's building those relationships, and I can, just like any networking, I can refer and they can refer, those type of things. So it's been incredibly valuable in that regard. Email, some people don't like email. Some people say it's dead. I don't think so. It worked quite well for me. So I do a lot of emailing, value emails, value messages, that type of thing. So it works quite well. You mentioned podcasts. We're talking on a podcast right now. I've done a lot of podcasts. I love podcasting. I love this format and the conversation back and forth, and where we can steer it towards your audience or whatever audience that I happen to be being interviewed on for a particular podcast. So that really has worked quite well in my marketing efforts as well. So those are my three main avenues of marketing at this point.
Yeah, and you mentioned LinkedIn, and I think you're right. I mean, I've been on LinkedIn a lot, and I've gotten a lot of messages from people, or vice versa. What do you think when you reach out to somebody new? You can send them a little note, connection note, or send them an email or something like that. What are some things that you've done? What are some like subject lines or some ways that you've captured people's attention? Because there's just so much, right? So tell me, what has worked for you?
Compliments.
Nice.
Compliments work in LinkedIn, when they work in life, they work in business, they work for customer service, but compliments word. So,
Compliments,
look
yeah.
at somebody's profile, see what they're doing, and again, it's, you may think it's hokey, but it works quite well. Look at their post, maybe comment on a post, look at the, kind of the overall feel of their profile, and then you can compliment. Hey, I really love what you're doing with this or this. You know, I'd I'd love to connect with other successful business owners or other whatever. If you're up to it, I'd love to be connect with you. Those type of things, and that works really really well. So. You definitely don't want to be
Very good.
salesy initially trying to make a connection. That's just a killer. So stay away from that, but just be lighthearted, little compliment, you know, call them a successful business owner, those type of things. People key into that and are willing to connect via that. The other thing too is you need to have a decent profile on LinkedIn as well. So there's a lot of resources to see how to jazz up your profile on LinkedIn and make it look a little bit better. And people can look at it and see that you're going to bring value of some kind at some point. So it's important to have that aspect of things too, because they'll get the message from you, the potential connection will click over, look at your profile, and then make a decision based off of that to either connect or not.
Oh, that's great. Great advice. I love that. It's just so simple. Give people a compliment and they'll love, maybe then they'll connect with you. I think that's a great idea. Great tactic to do. And in your emails too, I'm sure you can provide value and give people compliments and point them out and that's always nice too.
Absolutely.
Do you ever do handwritten notes and send them to people?
I not so much now in my chiropractic offices, and they're still doing that. And this is actually what I have my clients do. I recommend to my clients. We used to call them thank you grams, and one of my coaches is actually the one that set me up with this, and just send a handwritten note, thanking a patient for whatever, for being always on time or always having a smile on their face. We would send them to the post person or the UPS person, or if somebody in town we saw in the newspaper or on a Facebook feed or something had done something great, send them a little note. Hey, congratulations on this, those type of things. So I don't know how many times through the years my patients would come back and say that note got to me at the very best time. I was having a down day. I was having a problem day. I was just not in the right place in mind. I get my mail, I open that note, and it just changed my whole day. It didn't change the circumstances, but it just made me feel so much better, those type of things. So it's surprising what a compliment will do, or just a simple handwritten note that takes just a matter of minutes to send out, how that can affect people for the positive.
Absolutely. Okay, so what are some of the resources that you either listen to or read or get involved with?
I'm a voracious reader, so I love books. I'm always reading books. I can't listen to audiobook because I can't concentrate enough to to remember what I heard. So I have to have a physical book, or at least a digital book. So I am big on that. I love to have a digital copy, and then I'll copy sections or phrases or quotes or whatever the case may be and put it in a note. And then at the end of the book, I save those notes as for future reference. So I'm constantly going back and looking at books that I read, maybe a year and a half ago, to find new information that I can continue to help educate me and help me influence those that I'm working with as well. Couple of the great books that I've read recently is Burn Your Goals by Josh Gilbert. Um, there's two authors and I'm just mixing them up here. Anyways, it's Burn Your Goals. Tremendous book. I would highly recommend it. Grant Cardone has several books, the 10X Factor, the 10X Rule, and then also my favorite is Be Obsessed or Be Average. Another tremendous book that I've read multiple times, but that's another one that I would highly recommend listeners grabbing onto and listening to or reading as soon as possible.
Excellent. No, that's a great. I've read the X Factor. I love that one, or the X Factor rule. Whatever what you said.
Right.
It's a great book too. I love to listen to them. I can listen and still be able to stay awake. Reading sometimes just puts me to sleep, so I have to do things to stay up and move around, and listening to that. What about podcasts? Do you have any favorite podcasts that you like to listen to aside from the Marketing Expedition podcast, of course?
So that's tremendous. Several of them, and again, I've done a bunch of podcasts just over the last few months. So there's a whole host of podcasts that I can't say that I listen to any one regularly. I'll catch here and there because again, I don't listen well.
Right. Yeah.
I've got too many squirrels going on. I read for 30 minutes in the morning, so that's part of my routine just to get it done and take care of it. And then outside of that, I'm too distracted most of the time, so that's why I don't necessarily listen to many things. But there's a whole host of podcasts that for any topic, any industry, it's just search and look for one that maybe sound interesting and listen to a few episodes. And then if that's something you like, subscribe and rate it and stay with it. So they're just such a easy way for information to get information, to get inspired, to help you out in such a short period of time. And you can't go wrong with them.
Excellent. Well, we should always give a plug to Jill Lublin, who connected us together, and she's the author of The Profit of Kindness. And so she's on her publicity tour with that book. I mean, tour from her, Zoom. different way to go on a publicity tour, I suppose. But yeah, so just a nice little shout out to Jill and in that regard. So a couple more questions for you. I want people to know how to get a hold of you should they want to hire you to help in their business, in their, either, like you said, small business to corporate. It doesn't necessarily matter. Customer service has to be there no matter what. So how do people get a hold of you?
Easiest way to get in contact with me is go to my website, drkellyhenry.com. So that's DRKELLYHENRY, all one word.com. You can find out about me. You can find out about my programs. You can get a free PDF, my 5 top actions to immediately improve your customer service. So that's on there. You can also find my book, Define and Deliver Exceptional Customer Service.
Yes.
You can find the link to purchase it. And I do have all the versions. I've got a digital, a hard copy, soft copy, and an Audible copy for those of you that.
Yep, that's what I'm gonna do.
I can't even listen to my own book because
I will.
6 or 7 times, but no, you can find my book on there. It's really an easy read, a simple read. About 150 pages long.
Oh, good.
But it's full of simple ideas, principles, and actions that a business can take and really implement almost immediately to their business and raise that level of customer service to help them not just survive, but thrive, profit, and grow very quickly.
Excellent.
So, drkellyhenry.com is the best way to get in touch with me. Oh, you can also set up a call with me where we can talk a little more about your business and how what I do may apply and how I could help you out.
Excellent. And then name the title of your book again.
Define and Deliver Exceptional Customer Service is the name of the book. And then I also have a link on the website to get my top 5 actions to immediately improve your level of customer service.
There we go.
Grab that. That's just a download.
Excellent. Well, Dr. Kelly, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom today with us on the show. And we'll have to go listen or download or read the books and all the resources that you've given us. And I'm looking forward to implementing the new steps in my business as well. And so hopefully our listeners can do the same and get a hold of you if they feel like they can reach out to you and do that. So thank you very much. Any final thoughts for our listeners going on a marketing journey with us today?
Well, from a chiropractic, or from not a chiropractic standpoint, a customer service standpoint, always remember that you just can't go wrong with improving your customer service. There's really no downside to improving customer service. And all you're going to do is help your business, help your customers help your business profit, but also, like we talked about at the start of the show, that you're really just adding positively into the world. You're going to make the world a better place when you are treating customers in a way that they feel valued and important. That just ripples out from your business and makes the world a better place.
All right. Thank you so much. And for our listeners, always the best thing that you can ever do for us is to give us a review, share the podcast out with your friends. That's always a wonderful thing for us. And until next time, enjoy the journey.
Thanks for listening to the Marketing Expedition podcast. Find more online at peppershock.com. Wouldn't it be great if there was one place you can go to get all the latest information and tips about marketing and advertising? The Marketing Expedition community is that place. People like you gather in our online community to build relationships with others and find the latest marketing trends, tactics, tools, and technology. We help you build your brand and your bottom line. Start your adventure today. Visit themarketingexpedition.com to find out more.